right, everybody, how y'all doing today? My name is Jason. I'm out here because I believe in God, and I believe that His positive energy, the energy that that you receive from Him, is a great gift, and He gave me a gift of poetry, which I'm going to do a couple pieces. The name of this is called not the name of the piece, but the name of this is Poetry at the Park. Every time you see me and I do something, I'm gonna be at a different park in New Jersey. Right now we are at Orange Park, which is Monty Irvin Park. They changed the name a long time ago. This is where I'm from. This is my city. And I just want to share something with y'all. It's called Daggers, Knives, and Swords. I believe it was the Apostle Paul that said he had a thorn in his side. He asked God to remove it 3 times, but God said, "My grace is sufficient for you." But what do you do if you don't have a thorn and all you have are these daggers, knives, and swords? Daggers, knives, and swords. You see, I'm not like a lot of people that was raised in church, that kind of knew God from their birth. I'm not comfortable picking them up or putting them down or taking a run around the building like I lost my ever-loving mind. I bet you could tell I'm Pentecostal, but I still have these daggers, knives, and swords. These things hurt because the daggers stab me and the knives cut me and the sword pierces me on one side, but it's long so it's not done till it pierces the other side. Watch my blood spill all over the floor. My blood flows in the form of shame. I'm dying. But you see, this is the worst type of death because I'm not dying literally. I'm dying spiritually, because at one time I felt like Peter, James, and John on the top of the mountain of transfiguration, but I'm a lot like Peter. When I get excited, I speak too soon, but God still says, "My grace is sufficient for you." I can remember at one time I was proud of my daggers and I used to show off my knives, and my sword was my pride. And I hope that you noticed, because there was nothing to hide. But now I'm hiding. Although I know you're not perfect and I will never be. Everything ain't for everybody. God, take this away from me. But He still says, "My grace is sufficient for you." And we're supposed to boast in our infirmities. I ain't done that my whole life. And I'm not proud of this no more, and this could ruin my life. But God still says, "My grace is sufficient for you." So what do you do when you're being shredded, torn, and pierced, and it's time to sink or swim? And your testimony can save a life, but it's bubbling from within. See, what I've learned is if you put yourself on the back burner and turn up the heat and share, the more you tell your story is the less you're gonna care. Shame walks out the door when triumph is in the air. This ain't for them, it's for you. You need to go ahead and share. Get this thing off your chest, it's what's holding you back. Don't be a victim of your shame, the devil's on the attack. Daggers, knives, and swords, there's so many in my back. But what I've learned is if I tell my story and it helps someone, that same story is heard differently when it's told by another. So the truth is, we all have daggers, knives, and swords, but yet we need to listen closely, because God is still saying, "My grace is sufficient for you." Share your story, because we live in a world where most people are trying their best to be perfect. I'm just trying my best to be human, sharing with you my daggers, knives, and swords. I love you guys. Stay blessed.